Hey folks, today I'm going to talk about something a little bit different, but it's going to be centered around DUI. I've handled a lot of DUI cases throughout the state of Florida. Several in Broward, several in Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie. I don't know. I've been everywhere from down in the Keys to Orlando to a little bit on the West Coast, just many counties in Florida. And I've dealt with DUI deputies, DUI task officers, highway patrol, regular officers, the best and the worst. There are DUI officers that, in my humble opinion, really had no reasonable suspicion to make an arrest. Sometimes their stops were bad. Sometimes their investigation was horrible, and they arrested people that shouldn't be arrested. And that happens. And there's always a financial incentive. Not always, but a lot of times you can find a financial incentive. So there was one deputy that I had, and I pulled his financial records because he was a DUI task force deputy, and he had, I think it was like $70,000 in overtime already, and I think we were in like October. So I used that in my trial. I asked him about the money, and he started to go, I said, you've already made $70,000 in overtime, didn't you? And he started to say no, and I was like, brother, I pulled it, right? So I go, do you want me to refresh your recollection? And no, that's about right. I don't know the exact number, but yes, that's about right. That's a lot of money in overtime. So if someone's close or someone's not close, is there an incentive? Is there a financial incentive to arrest somebody? And I would make the argument that there is. And in that particular case, there was. But there was one deputy amongst all the deputies, all the police officers, all the DUI specialty guys, all the troopers that stood out. And you know why that person stood out? One is I never beat them in a case. Not one case did I ever get a dismissal of the charges. And you go, and why is that? Because every single person that gentleman arrested, at least in my experience, was guilty of DUI, and there were no technical flaws. There were no mistakes. When a Monday morning quarterbacked his game, it was flawless. He was courteous. He was respectful. He kept his body camera on at all times. No games. Didn't make up BS. Didn't write things that couldn't be observed in the video. I mean, squared away. So in this video, I'm talking about someone on the other side of the law enforcement, who I think is a stellar deputy. He's a Broward Sheriff's Office deputy, and he's no longer a DUI task force deputy, but his name is Michael Kellerer. Michael Kellerer. And the first couple times I met the guy, I was like, there's no way this guy can be this nice. Then I would get the videos, right? I would ask other attorneys, and they're like, no, that guy's squared away. And I kept trying. I mean, I don't know how many motions I had with the guy. I mean, every time I had a case with him, I was trying another argument, No, my client's innocent, Trying to find a mistake, a flaw, a kink in his armor. And it, he, at least in my experience, only arrested the people that were legitimate DUI, that were a safety hazard to others, that could, harm other people by driving impaired. And that's the guy that should get the award. I mean, who would know better than a DUI defense attorney who knows their stuff, right? So I was telling a friend this, and he goes, dude, you talk about this guy like he's the Michael Jordan of DUI. I go, you know what? I like that. Michael Kellerer, the Michael Jordan of DUI. Really, guys. I mean, he's that good. Polite, always, even when people were being rude to him, he was polite, he was courteous, he never overly manhandled. He just knew how to do it. And one thing that he always did is, right after my motion to suppress, a lot of deputies, a lot of officers, right, a lot of DUI task guys, they go, am I excused? And after they testify, they leave. No, not Michael Kellerer. Right? That guy stayed and listened to the arguments presented by the state, presented by the defense, and continuously learned. I mean, what other props can you give to a guy? Now, I'm going to finish it with a story that you're not going to believe, all right? But it's true. I was in, it was either a motion or a trial, and I don't remember, it was so long ago. And I am cross-examining a police officer, and he says some things on direct and in cross that are just blowing my mind. And I'm going, okay, I got to figure out. And somehow during the cross-examination, I don't know if it was a jury break or the judge needed a bathroom break, but he gave us a break in the middle of this cross-examination. And I'm out in the hallway, and I'm going, I got to find this, and I can't figure this out. I'm trying to figure out, how am I going to nail this officer? And guess who happens to be walking down the hallway? Deputy Michael Kellerer. And I go, hey, what's going on, deputy? And he says, hey, what's going on? And I was like, yeah, I'm in a hearing. And I said, I got a question. Can I ask you a quick question about DUI? And he says, sure. And I said, well, this officer just said ABC. And he goes, are you kidding me? Really? He goes, please tell me he's not from my department. I go, no, he's not one of your guys. I was Pembroke Pines or Hollywood PD at the time. And he said, no, that's absolutely incorrect. And I'm trying to I'm ready to grab notes. And Kelleher looks at me and goes, do you want to call me as a witness? And I go, buddy, I don't want to get you in trouble or anything, like the thin blue line. And he goes, no, what's right is right. What's wrong is wrong. He's like, that's totally incorrect. He was an instructor, I believe, and all that. And I said, you could do that? And he goes, yeah. So I go in there, I finish the cross-examination, and I call Deputy Michael Kelleher as a defense rebuttal witness. The state, of course, objects, but I don't have to list a witness. He's going to get on as an expert in the field and talk about his experience as, and again, I think he was an instructor at the time. And he got up on the stand, and ding, 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 ding. We went through all the things that the other officer came, and what ultimately happened is, yeah, we won. We won. Think about that, right? How many times have you heard of another officer, police officer, law enforcement deputy getting on the stand and saying, hey, this is the way it is? Now, I'm not saying that he was like, oh, that guy's like, no, not that. He wasn't attacking the officer. I asked him specific questions based on, right, on the NHTSA manual, and he answered those questions. And as an instructor, as a very, very experienced officer, right, one that the judge knew, that the prosecutor knew, everyone knew at that point, and now the jury was learning, right, that, hey, that other guy, he may not be so credible. And when you don't have a credible witness, what happens? The case falls apart. So think about how stand-up that is. So I don't know what Deputy Kelleher's official function is, in Broward Sheriff's Office. He's still a deputy or an officer or sergeant or lieutenant or captain, or hell, if I could vote for him for chief, I would, because always nice, always honorable, a man that took, again, and I haven't seen him in years, but just took pride in his work, always learning, always taking the courses, always making sure he understood the case law, always being respectful to prosecutors, defense attorneys, and especially people that he arrested, right? And I'm sorry to say, I could never, I never beat the guy on a case, not one. And I was talking to another attorney about this just the other day, and he said, oh, Kelleher? Oh man, that guy. He goes, you don't even have to take his depo. That guy's so honorable. I've had, dozens, 100 cases with the guy. He goes, that guy is stand up. And he said, I think I beat him one time, and then we talked about the case law and whatever, and he learned, and he made the adjustment. And this wasn't a guy that would just say what needed to be said. Everything that, like I said, never turned the body camera off, just straight shooter. And the people that got adjudicated, lost on the DUI, they were all guilty. So did he make the streets of Broward County safer? Abso-friggin-lutely. And I Monday morning quarterback a lot of police officers. I tried to do with this gentleman, and I was not successful. You know why? Because he did it right, and he knew what he was doing. And all my clients that he arrested, respectfully, they were DUI, and none of them complained. That's another thing. After motions to suppress or trials or technical issues, not one client ever said, oh, I fully. They were like, I said, man, you got You got Deputy Michael Kelleher here. How do I say his name? Kellerer. He just knows his stuff. Did he treat you with respect? No, the guy was very nice to me. Yeah, I watched in the video I wasn't so nice to him, right? Even people who were not nice to him, he just did it squared away. So I'm driving with my knee for 10 seconds. Broward Sheriff's Office, if you see this, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, if you really want to salute someone, don't salute the guy that's just doing it to buy a boat, to put his kid through college, right? Who's got a financial interest in it. Get the guy who's really good at it. Who better? Reach out to some other defense attorneys in Broward County. I bet you they tell you similar stories. The guy's squared away. I'm attorney Roger P. Foley, and points scored for the other guy, the Michael Jordan of DUI. See ya.